Okay, so I'm going to try to make this quick. I just want to cover each indicator because I want you to see how simple this is and repetitive this is. What I have done over the last 25 years, but specifically over the last 15, because that's technically when I started really diving into this aspect of the market, is I boiled everything that I had, everything that I learned from my mentors, fund managers, and everything that I came up with myself into easy to understand tools. So if you and I, anyone, open up charts, you literally can click buy or sell, and in almost any case, you will be positive at some point. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, duh, that's obvious, but think about it for a minute. In fact, this is a really good exercise to do to understand how to manage trades. And what you do is you open up a chart, take everything off the chart and just make it blank, and you can have somebody else do it, click buy or sell and not tell you, or you can do it. It doesn't really matter. And then what you do is you use every resource that you have to figure out how to get out of that trade. And the reason why this exercise is so effective is because what it does is it forces you to think, what do I have? What can I look at that will help me maximize this trade, either to cut losses or to take profit? Now, fortunately, we don't have to do that on a daily basis. We don't have to open up our charts with real money and randomly click buy or sell. Instead, what we do is we use tools that help us make better decisions. And so if you are using a tool to help you make a better decision, it's important that you understand that tool. So you'll notice I'm not talking about the trade balance. I'll talk about that last, actually. I want to start with the box because it is so ridiculously simple. Or approximately a decade ago, when I first released this, at the time my son was 10 years old, and I thought it was simple. So I brought him into my office. I explained to him what it was. I showed him where the buy and sell buttons were and where the exit button was. That's how I described it. And I simply explained to him, when you see a blue arrow, buy, click this blue button here. When you see a red arrow, sell, click this red button here. And if you look to the right of your screen, these dotted lines here, these are profit levels. And what I told him was, it's up to you. You can exit the position, or in other words, the trade that you're in, at any one of these. But since you're new, think about at least the first couple and get out there and let's see how you do. Well, it took him about 10 minutes. So then began the process. I gathered together 30 traders, and for an entire month, we would meet every morning, and they traded the box on their desired instrument, and nearly all of the results were the same. I didn't have all of the plethora of videos that I have right now. I simply explained to them the same thing because I didn't want them to overthink it. This is a tool, and what the tool does is it gives us an edge in the market. It shows us where probability lies, and all we have to do is pull the trigger. You see, what happens is a lot of people, and I'm not talking about this, I'm just talking about the overall population of people that attempt trading, that try trading, they don't have the patience, or they psych themselves out by thinking that it can't be that easy. That's way too simple. There's got to be more to it than that. So they read books and they buy programs and they go to seminars. And 15 years ago, my neighbor blew $150,000 of his retirement money on seminar after seminar after seminar. And I actually watched him trade, and he would just sit there just nervous as can be and would almost never pull the trigger. He would call out the perfect trades, but he would wait. You see, what trading really comes down to is simply pulling the trigger. And one thing that has been nice about the box over this last decade has been the simplicity of it. When there's a blue arrow, we buy. When there's a red arrow, we sell. Now, on any of those directions, we can take profit wherever we feel like taking profit. We can trail our position. We can exit at different profit levels, scaling out of your position. That's really all that is required, is that we just click the button. We get into a trade, and then we figure out how we're going to get out. With this, we already know how we're going to get out before we actually even get into the trade. And the way that we know that is because once a box forms, it's a little bit light right here. When we get that arrow, we're in. And then we can take profit anywhere in here at any of these levels. We don't know that it's not going to go higher than this. But if you think of it from a gambling standpoint, when you're handed money, you take it and you put some of that aside to build it. When we get an opposite signal, we take it, and we're looking for these lower profit levels to take money off the table. And we repeat that process over and over and over every single day. This happens to be gold. In fact, I didn't even know I had this up. I thought this was the ES for a second, but this is gold. So this was today. It's actually 2 o'clock in the morning my time. But from today, this one paid, this one paid, this one paid, this one paid big, this one paid, this one paid, this one paid, this one paid really big, this one paid. And we're in the overnight session now. So we've had 0 losing trades. All of these trades paid money. Every single one of them. Even these ones here. Smaller positions, but every single one of these trades. Now there's going to be a loser at some point. There's like 25 trades there. All these paid. There's nearly 2 days of trades. So in the email, it's not difficult to pull out $500 a day, even if you have a smaller account. Obviously I have to be really careful about earnings, but at some point it just becomes ridiculous. When I have traders that email me and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know I made $37,000 today in the first hour and a half, that's pretty cool. And another email, somebody using these exact tools, hey, over the last month, I've averaged more than $596 a day. That's not bad. That's over 10 grand. Now, all of you are starting at different places. Some of you have a lot of money. Some of you have just the minimum. But regardless of where you're at, the game is still the same. The only difference is perhaps the amount that you're trading with. So this is just one tool. There's so many different things that we can do. If we were to look at an indicator called one price, now this is another one that I have analytics built into. This is an indicator that is extremely effective, but it doesn't give you as many trades as something like the box. It's more, if the market's trading in that direction, we're going to use it. If it's not, then we're not going to use it. But regardless, and we're not going to talk about strategy here. There's 4 key strategies to one price. I go over all of them in the members area. On the ES, over the last year's worth of trading days, it has a 97% fill rate. This is extremely important to me because I believe all of you watching this, you attended my webinar. I am an absolute perfectionist, especially when it comes to managing my money. And I want to know with exact precision what the tools that I'm using are doing. Are they even effective? If they're not, I'm not going to use them because I'm not going to put money at risk if the tools that I'm using, if I question them. I don't question this at all. You can see how accurately, we haven't hit this one yet. This was from earlier Thursday, but you can see how accurately the market plays off of these prices. This is not coincidental. If it happens once or twice, that's coincidental. If it happens over and over and over and over again, month after month, year after year, week after week, day after day, it's not a coincidence. These prices are extremely tradable, extremely reliable. They react amazingly to the market. Absolutely amazing. We got to the tick on this one, and this one played with it all day long. There's so many trades in there. Now, this is called key turns. For me personally, everyone's different, but for me personally, since 2005, this single indicator has governed all of my trades. In fact, this one almost did not become an indicator because the methodology of populating this for many years I honestly thought was impossible. It was only a couple years ago that light bulb went off and I finally figured out, at least I had an idea on how it could work. And to my amazement, it actually did work because the methodology prior to this had nothing to do with the single price. It was more of a projection of direction, either up or down. And since the development of this single price, it was already good before, but now with this key level, it literally makes all the difference. And it's simple. We buy above it and sell below it, period. Now, there are instances where price has pulled so far away from it that we're actually looking for price to drive up to it, like we actually had Thursday. This is the Globex overnight for Friday. So you can put this on your chart. If you're watching this before the market opened, the price I would use is 3013.75 on the ES. The reason why there's a green line here is because that's like the tipping point. And I had to put another price in there because it's above it, we're buying, below it, we're selling. This is the price that I use though. So if we have a breakout above here, guess what I'm doing? I'm buying. And right now we're short. We're testing this for short. So this is an example of where price just pulled way far beyond it, like an overextension. And so we're looking for a hard bounce. And sure enough, we got that. Actually, we had a prediction point down here and we ran all the way to the tick and tested it. Beautiful breakout. And we actually have about 10 points of play up in here, which is amazing. So we can take the hard bounce and follow higher highs, higher lows. We're always guarded no matter what direction we're in case we have a reversal. But we're taking profit all the way through here, getting in, getting out, getting back in, and testing this, and then watching for failure. And that's it. We're long above, short below. And just for example's sake, I just wanted to show you this one because this will help some of you that don't quite understand that concept. This is what that means. This was a day where we opened close to it, and these are really good days. Every day is a good day if you understand how this works. Remember what I said at the beginning? It's important to understand the tools that you're using. We open very close to this, and so there's almost no risk on a trade like this. In fact, you can actually trade it so that you have virtually next to no risk, because if you're entering at or near the price and we're going the opposite direction, we're going the opposite direction. We're not going to take a massive hit on that. We're going to just reverse. So we're long above this, and there is quite a bit of play here. 67, and it peaked out before we started heading down at 79. So we got 12 points of movement right here. We come back to test it. We can get long again. We had a nice hard bounce. This one, so a hard bounce would be like this one and this one. And then when we're sitting there, there's some indecision. And so we can test this again, but it becomes weaker. So then we're short. This is one that you'd probably break even a couple times. Worst case scenario, down a point. But we take this, we take this, we take this, and then look at this. We have a breakdown. So those of you that are new to trading, you'll hear the term breakout. Well, when we break in the downward direction, we call it a breakdown. And that's just where we break lows. And the lows just happen to be at the key turns price. So we're going to be short here. So we have about the same amount on the downside, 12 to 14 points roughly, that we can play around with. We can get in again here, another, this was actually the 12 to 14 point run. And then what do? We watch for this. We can get short here again, but we watch and we have a breakout. So now we go long and we're riding that. Okay, remember, long above, short below, that's it. This one indicator governs all of my trades, period, no matter what I'm doing, regardless of all the other tools. I use the other tools for those trades. This one I use for the big stuff. In fact, prior to this, I had a fund manager on the East Coast that would pay me a large sum every month to send him a text every morning on the direction of what you're looking at. And just to kind of give you an idea, every trade that he made was worth about $400,000 is what he had vested in each individual trade. And at that time, this did not exist. So it was, okay, we're buying, okay, we're selling, but the only difference is I gave him that direction at the beginning of the day. I didn't have a price. I had my analysis that told me up or down, and that's it. This, to me, is huge. So I don't know how, if you're not pulling at least 500 bucks a day on this tool, between the videos in the members area and the videos on YouTube that I created, if all you did was just that, you should be able to extract hundreds, and for some of you, thousands of dollars every single day. There's trades every single day, and there's absolutely no reason for taking losses. If you screw up, get back in. There are these simple little tools that we can use, and I'm going to just talk about the extension because I'm way over time here. But I've mentioned over and over and over again, watch out for the fakes. Watch out for these fakes. Watch out for these fakes. Unless something's really driving the market, they're going to happen almost every single time. And so what we can do is we can take the extension and see where would be an ideal area. So we can see this first fake out didn't hit the 23%. This one did. So maybe you didn't get into this one, but we got into this one. Where do we take profit? We can take profit here and or here. And if you are a trader that trails your positions, you probably would have taken profits somewhere down here, because what you would have had is you would have had the retracement drawn in through here. Here's 50%, here's 62%, 76%. Any one of these obviously would have done perfectly fine. We didn't come back up here. We didn't break that high here to get back to your entry. So you would have stayed in that position. And what do we do through here? Well, we are already coming down. Let's test these as resistance. Are we going to get some resistance in here? Get in, click sell, put a limit order on these prices, and look how accurate they are. Draw this on any day, on any market, and it's going to do the same thing. And like I said, unless we have something economically that's really pushing the markets around, that it doesn't care about anything on charts, it's going to be this reliable. Now, when we have markets like that, you just need to scale back. So regardless of your account size, no matter what you're doing, if you just use these tools as they were intended to be used, there's a percentage that's greater than I could calculate of your chances of having not just success in the generalized term, but really get on the path to life-changing money like so many of my clients have been able to do. And there's no difference. I asked the guy, okay, you made $129,000 today. What did you do differently than this person who's using the exact same tool? Now, obviously, you're trading with more money, but what did you do differently? He has the exact same tool and he broke even, or he lost money, or he made 20 bucks today. And the answer every single time is, well, I got into the trade. I put my exits where I was supposed to. I got in where I was supposed to. I got out where I was supposed to. And that's it. There's no secret to it. Again, we can remove everything from charts. We can click buy or sell, and it comes down to a matter of how are we going to get out of that trade? What resources do we have? What can we use to our advantage to help us either cut losses or to take profit? And then that's it. So I hope this is helpful. Those of you that do not yet have the Pro Suite, you get all of these tools. Obviously, you keep the trade balance for life, but the box and one price and the backfill indicator, these are extremely reliable and useful tools that you could use every single day. So grab it while you can. There's a link at the bottom of this video, And be sure to enter that coupon code so you get that discount. And just for fun, since this is real time, let's see what KeyTurns is doing. And since we were talking about it, it went to the actual tick, and we have dropped exactly 3 points from there. 3.25 technically, if you look at the upper line. But remember, I said we're going to use this 13.75. So it's very simple. We're short below it, we're long above it, and that's it. Anyways, that's a wrap. I got to get a couple hours of sleep before the market's open. Click the link below, grab all these tools, and have a blast with it.